All right, so it's about the new movie Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the second installment of the Spider-Man franchise, starring Miles Morales animated film. I think the movie was directed by several Joaquin DeSantis, Kemp Powers, and Justin K. Thompson, and it was written by Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, and David Calhoun. So, what do I think about this movie? Essentially, the story stars the continuing adventures of Miles Morales into adulthood, his parents, him going to college or not, and his parents' association with it, his life, him whether he is around because he has another secret alternative secret identity, Miles's relationships growing up with, and essentially it comes to all the Spider-Men once again. So the movie deals with I think Gwen Stacy more than the original. I feel like she was more of it fleshes her out, it makes her seem more relatable, more human than she was in the original film, where she was just kind of there to kick butt. In the original movie, here she has, you know, a more fleshed out past in her relationship with her parents and how she came to be Spider Woman ultimately. So I think the movie has a lot of strengths and weaknesses. The strengths being that ultimately moving forward, I would say that it's well animated. A lot of fleshing out, probably the most fleshing out maybe of any movie I've seen recently. Just the amount of time that it spends on its characters, positive and fleshing out. You see glimmer of different spider people, men and women, particularly the new characters voiced by Karan Sony, plays a particular Spider-Man, um, an Indian Spider-Man essentially. Oscar Isaacs as Spider-Man 2099. Issa Rae plays a Spider-Woman. We introduced again to Peter Parker and his Mayday Parker, um, his unofficial, well, his official daughter, um, perhaps to lead the things in the future. So ultimately, this movie, again, a lot of colors, a lot of great 3D animation. Made to look like 2D animation, made to look like I suppose a comic palette, kind of interesting color choices that I wouldn't expect. But I guess it's akin to the first movie. Yeah, Miles improves upon his relationships. There's flawed characters all around, and we see where his relationship flounders and succeeds across the Spider Verse. So ultimately, I say this movie, though, one of the weaknesses is this movie is too long. It is a two-parter, which I did not realize going in to watch it, that it kind of almost slams on the brakes and stops abruptly. Uh, I was not expecting it to stop. Essentially, there is a villain, essentially, who's like, I guess you could say a B villain, and they kind of address that. I guess the Spider-Man people, Spider people, they'll know who this is, but it's not a villain that's been shown before, the main villain in any of the movies or any of the movies upcoming so far. So the second, I find, other than the cliffhanger, a lot of intricate chases and things of that nature. I mean, I guess I'm a bit biased because I personally was not the biggest fan of the first movie. I'm probably maybe the only one. Ultimately, there's this movie is better, but I feel like it kind of again relies on nostalgia, but also the cartoon element of it. But ultimately, this movie, I give this a B because I think that there are a lot of people that will love this and ultimately come to scratch an itch for a lot of comic book fans to see Miles Morales realized, and see other characters as Peter Parker and perhaps new faces. Well, definitely new faces, perhaps some old faces as well. So ultimately, this movie is a big for me, and great animation, some good storytelling. Too long, just not formatted in a movie. I think this new trend of movies that's coming in that's starting to, how do you say, essentially a part ones and parts twos. I know Mission Impossible coming in is going to be like this. So, you know, these movies go in trends and can be repetitive through time. So, but not a bad experience, particularly for those who love the first movie. I think you'll love this one. Okay, bye.